Mrs. Cullen, we're ready when you are.
Thank you very much. We'll call the meeting to order, and would everyone please rise to salute our flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Chenoweth, could you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Vance Clemens?
Here.
She's participating by phone.
Ms. Batitsky?
Here.
Mrs. Blomgren?
Here.
Mrs. Chaikin?
Here.
Mr. Cormack?
Not yet.
Mrs. Cullen?
Here.
Mr. Rice?
Here.
Mr. Russell?
Here.
And Mr. Wirtz?
He is also participating by phone.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to table all matters related to the Wellness Academy.
Madam President, that is in order. As you know, a motion to table does not require a second, nor does it get debate. The matters relating to the Wellness Academy, if I have this correctly, are items 63 and 113 of the personnel report in section 5 of our agenda, and then item in section 9 of the agenda, if I have this correctly, I'm sorry, apologize. Yes, in the personnel report, subject D, subsections B and C. And Dr. Bolden, do I have that right? I think those are the 4 issues.
Checking with Mrs. McHale, I had number 111, not number 113.
Okay.
One 111 and 63.
Yes.
Okay, so for purpose of the motion, Ms. Batiki is making a motion to table number 63 and number 111 of the personnel report, and then in section 9, subsection D, subsection B and C, those 2 job descriptions. That's my understanding of the motion. You can do it by voice vote or by roll call, either one. Subsection D, B, and C.
Okay. All right, so the motion is to table those items that have been listed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
No.
Mr. Wirtz.
Right.
Mr. Rose.
Okay, so I think I heard, the motion carries 7-1 because Mr. Cormack is not yet with us. Okay.
Questions or comments?
Public comment?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll move on to public comment. According to policy 903, public comment, which is limited to 3 minutes, should be directed to the presiding officer rather than individual board members, district employees, or members of the public. For confidentiality and privacy rights, specific comments regarding particular individuals must be communicated privately to the school board and superintendent via email at psdschoolboard@penridge.org. Now, I only have one public comment that was related to an agenda item, which has now been tabled. So,
We should do it at the end. Sure.
okay, we could do that at the end then, the comment? Okay, thank you. And Dr. Bolton, you want?
Superintendent's
Oh,
report?
I'm sorry, I just got myself. I'm so sorry, I just wanted to reflect on graduation that we had last week. It was a great evening for the students. We're so very proud of them, and again, wish them the best of luck in everything that they do. And, you know, it was a nice night, and if you happen to be there or watch the live stream, I hope you would join me in wishing them the best, and I'll hand it off to Dr. Bolton.
Thank you, Mrs. Cullen. We have many spring sports recognitions. As you know, every season we recognize those athletes that qualify for state competition, and we have multiple tonight. So first, from boys track, we need to congratulate Joey Gant. Joey Gant is the fastest student in Pennsylvania, winning the 100 and the 200 meters at the state championship at Shippensburg University. I believe we even have a slow motion video because of how fast he is. Mr. Jones, can you play the slow motion video, please?
Here it is. And it's the body, right? It's the body. So it's the base of the neck. And he had a 2-meter lead with 70 meters to go. He was able to run that down. Yeah, Sims got out of the blocks really well. And I didn't think Gant would catch it, but what a great comeback there in the final 20 meters. What an amazing turnaround, and a pretty decent time, too, for Gant. And he is something to be proud of going out on his high school career. 10.74. And a big day like today with a lot of
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So just congratulations to Joey. It's just amazing. I mean, they're not right down the line. I know in the Olympics you can see that right down the line. So we're going to take word for it that Joey chested him out in the finals there for the 100 and the 200 meters. Joey's going to continue to racing as he heads to Princeton University in the fall. Joey was one of our graduates last week. We also have 2 other boys who qualified for states, and we'd like to recognize them as well. Austin Prudish, who qualified in the 300-meter hurdles, and Jared Hess, who qualified in the triple jump. On the girls' side, our 4x800 relay of Noah Ridding, Ava Poltoric, Keegan Smith, and Ashley Landis won the silver medal in the 4x800 relay and were awarded second team All-State for that accomplishment. Also recognizing on the girls' track team is Nicole Rendon, who qualified in javelin. If we could have all of those men and young ladies to come down forward with their coaches for a picture so we can congratulate them.
Track stars.
All right, don't move after that.
I just want to make sure I'm not.
Did we get them all? All right, congratulations. I was just informed that Joey was also first team All-State in both the 100 and the 200 for his accomplishments. We've also learned as we're putting this together that a lot of families vacation the first week after school is out. So there are lots of families that are away, but we still want to recognize those students. Next is our boys volleyball team. Coaches David Childs, Austin Rush, and Ian Keys. The volleyball team won the league championship, came in second in the district championship, and made it all the way to the state semifinals. So we're really proud of them. I want to mention the seniors by name: Riley Kodadek, Tyler Johnson, Nick Smith, and Alex Dirk. Tonight they are represented by Coach David Childs and both Nick and Tyler Smith, who are on the team. So they could come forward as we recognize them. Take our seat. All right, thank you. Congratulations. There's one more, Mrs. Keller, if you just want to stay. Next, we want to recognize those 8th graders who received a perfect score on the Pennsylvania Department of Education civics exam. This is a relatively new requirement in the state of Pennsylvania, where 8th graders across the state are required to take a civics exam that composes 40 questions that are basically taken off of the citizenship exam to become a U.S. citizen. And so they learn that curriculum primarily in 8th grade, and then there's a selection of 40 questions. And we had 15 students, 15 8th graders across the district who scored a perfect score. So we wanted to recognize them tonight. There are 9 of them that are able to join us. And so from North, Sean Janey, Megan Kasarek, Ella Laird, Daniel Lara Lozano, and Jacob Walters. From Central, Samuel Underwood. And from South, Penelope Rocks, Graydon Raleigh, and Bethany Bates, along with their teacher, Ms. Shelby Bresnan from South Middle School. So if those students could come forward while we congratulate them.
I guess there's a series of people from Penridge who are like, who is that? Who's the gargoyle over my shoulder?
Susan? Braden? Nice. All right, turn your certificate so everybody can see it. But don't get her above your height. All right, there we go. We got this. Stick the camera in. Okay, wait over there. Got 2 over there. Get faces. You got them? You good? All right, we're good. We're all good. Yes, Mom. Yeah. Dad? Okay. All right. Congratulations.
I don't believe so.
Mr. Miller, the solicitor, said he's looking for some interns, so if anybody needs some summer employment, just check with him after the meeting.
Yes, that's exactly what
That's not exactly what I'm saying. But all free help is welcome.
Next, congratulations to the 44 Penridge employees who retired this year and the 135 employees who celebrated a year of service milestone. We're so grateful for their dedication to the Penridge community and students. We calculated for the 44 employees who graduated this year, approximately 103,000 student contacts in terms of the direct impact they've had. That's not even speaking to the other ripples in terms of their colleagues and the other students who they knew through other ways. So just tremendous commitment, and it was a wonderful celebration 2 weeks ago of them. The next 6 items are all different ways that we were able to celebrate the 580 members of the class of 2022. First was the senior prom. The class of 22 senior prom was a blast. They enjoyed a wonderful evening at the Palace Center in Allentown with lots of dancing, good food, and an amazing time. Next was the senior sunrise, which is a relatively new tradition here in Penridge. Our seniors enjoyed the last day of school together by getting up at 5:15 to enjoy the sunrise. It was a great way to end their time at Penridge. It was followed by senior breakfast. Seniors then gathered after the sunrise in the high school cafeteria and enjoyed breakfast sandwiches together from Chick-fil-A. Next is the senior video, and this is a tease. Each year, the senior class makes a senior video that highlights the entire class. This year's video is entitled One Last Ride, and it's incredible. To see the full video, please go to the YouTube channel under penridgetv.com. Next is Senior Stroll, another relatively new tradition to Penridge. On Tuesday evenings, seniors and their families have the opportunity to walk around the high school one last time. There are photo opportunities set up throughout the building and up at the stadium, and it's a nice, relaxing way for families to be able to take photos in the caps and gowns and commemorate graduation prior to the actual evening of graduation. And then obviously finally was graduation. Our seniors celebrated, culminated with graduation at Stabler Arena at Lehigh University last Wednesday night, June 8th. It was a great evening as families filled the arena to cheer on their graduates. And we need to say for one final time, congratulations to the class of 2022. We are Penridge proud of you. Mrs. Cullen, that's the superintendent's report.
Thank you. So we'll move into the approval of the consent calendar. And I would make a motion to approve the consent calendar items A through I, but excluding those that we tabled.
A second.
So it was moved by myself and seconded by Mr. Rice. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 8-0.
No, that was one.
Wait.
It was 7-1.
No,
Ron.
said aye.
He said aye,
he said
it
aye,
just came through late, yeah.
Mrs. Cullen, if I could make an introduction based on that consent calendar. With those approval, there were 115 line items to the personnel report. So first of all, a huge thank you to Mrs. McHale and her department, especially Miss Allison Johnson, who painstakingly goes through all that paperwork. June is always a very, very busy time for them. So I want to thank them publicly. I want to also introduce one of the many hires that is on that list is here with us tonight. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Dave Thomas, who will be the new Coordinator of Communications and Public Relations. Mr. Thomas was a news reporter for 7 years, and for the past 18 years, he served as a teacher and a multimedia expert at 3 local school districts, Hatboro-Horsham, Parkland, and most recently, Upper Perkiomen. At each district, he has established a community cable channel. He's expanded all forms of communications and has established professional branding materials. We look forward to what Mr. Thomas and his combination of both classroom knowledge and media expertise will bring to Penridge. He's here tonight with his wife, so would you please welcome Mr. Dave Thomas. As he said, tonight's the last meeting, he gets to leave early. So.
Okay. I thought we were just going to have him come on up and take your...
I almost helped with the conference call, but I figured, I'll wait a month.
Thank you. So we'll move on to curriculum. We do have a couple of motions in curriculum. The first one is a motion to approve the following curriculum improvement proposals: Modern American History, Academic and Honors, and Chemistry, Academic and Honors. Needs a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, so moved by myself and seconded by Mrs. Batisky. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries 8-0. Then the next is a motion to approve an overnight trip request for the Penridge cheerleaders to attend the UCA camp from August 16th, 2022 until August 19th, 2022.
A second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments or questions from board members? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0. Thank you. And the next curriculum committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 1st, 2022. Now our facilities report. Mr. Rice, you're going to handle that?
All right, one on facilities. Here we go. Motion to approve the development of the 2023 facilities maintenance projects to include the operations maintenance, salt storage shed, phase 2 paving, South Middle School kitchen, and the building maintenance projects. I would need a second, please.
Second that.
Thank you.
Okay, it's moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Are there any comments or questions from board members? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0. Mr. Rice.
I just want to take an opportunity to encourage people that if you haven't looked at the attachments, to take a look at the attachments for the 2023. And just to be clear that this is not for this summer, this is for next summer. So this summer's projects have already begun. You can just simply look out by the tennis courts to see them both completed, as well as the salt shed and storage building that is being taken down. And I just want to thank Mr. Harper and Mr. Daubert for their work on that in terms of keeping the district ahead of the game in terms of the facilities that need attention. I believe the summer of '23 projects actually touch 8 of our 11 school buildings. Just we're really proud of that in terms of making sure that we're caring for all of them. So I just wanted to publicly thank them.
All right, next I'm going to make a motion to accept and award RFP results A through C listed below.
Second.
Could I guess?
Second by
say that?
Chaikin.
Yep.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve items A through E listed below. These are obsolete items.
I'll second that.
It's moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Ms. Batisky. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
The next Facilities Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 8th, 2022.
Roll right into finance.
Rolling right on into finance. There we go. All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 lunch breakfast prices.
Second.
Thank you.
It's moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Mrs. Blomgren. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to seek bids for new school bus replacements for 2022-2023.
Second that.
Okay, it's moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
This is the exciting one. Motion to approve the final general fund budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 with revenues and expenditures totaling $149,500,094 and set the real estate millage tax rate at 135.2555. I don't believe that was a tax increase, was it, Dr. Bolton?
That is correct.
So how many years was that? Mr. Dalton? Was that 2 hands? So there's 6?
6.
Wow. 6 years, no tax increase? Yeah, very interesting. I like that. Could I get a second, please?
I'd like to second that. Any other comments, Mr. Dahlberg? Job well done.
This is a roll call vote, Madam President.
Mr. Chairman?
Okay, Mrs. Vance Clemens?
Yes.
Ms. Batisky?
Yay.
Mrs. Blomgren? Mrs. Chaikin?
Yes.
Mr. Corn's not here. Mrs. Cullen?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
And Mr. Wurz?
Yes.
Okay, so that motion carries 8-0. Mr. Rice?
All right, next I'm going to make a motion to approve the levying of taxes, which includes the 1% earned income tax, 0.5% real estate transfer tax, and $5 local services tax. Can I get a second, please?
I will second it. All right, and this is another roll call.
Mr. Chairman, this one and the next one are roll call, and then you can sit back.
Standing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Mrs. Vance Clemens?
Yes.
Ms. Batisky?
Yes.
Mrs. Blomgren?
Yes.
Mrs. Chaikin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cullen?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
And Mr. Wurz?
Yes.
Okay, that motion also passes 8-0. Mr. Rice?
I make a motion to approve the 2022 Homestead and Farmstead Exclusion Resolution. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you.
It's moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Chaikin, and this is a roll call.
Mrs. Vance Clemens?
Yes.
Ms. Batisky?
Yes.
Mrs. Blomgren? Mrs. Chaikin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cullen?
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
and Mr. Wurs.
Yes.
Ms. Chenoweth, Mr. Cormack is now present with us, so he can be recorded to vote on the homestead and farmstead exclusion.
Mr. Cormack,
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Bob. So that motion passed 9-0. Mr. Rice?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the installment dates of August 31st, October 31st, and December 15th, 2022. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Batisky. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Mr. Cormack? Aye. Okay, so that motion passes 9-0. Mr. Rice?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the commitment of funds for the year ending 2021, 2022, A through C listed below. Could I get a second, please?
I will second that. So it's moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by myself. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Cormack?
Aye.
Okay. All right, opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the renewal quotes presented by the Willis Towers Watson. They are A through G below.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Ms. Batisky. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Didn't hear Mr. Cormack.
Motion to approve the contracts A through CC listed below. That's quite a few. That is past Z for double C.
Could we pull out to vote separately for items Q and U, please?
So, Mr. Rice, will you accept that amendment to your motion, pulling Q and U out and voting on the remainder?
Sir.
Okay.
So we'll vote on this separately.
Yeah, we'll vote on Q and U separately, but right now you have A through P, R, S, T, with the alphabet, V through double C.
Thank you.
Who needs a second?
Can I clarify, are we voting for all except those two right now?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the motion, oh, it needs a second still?
Yes. Yes.
I'll second.
Okay, so it's moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Or any comments or questions from board members? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I'm not sure. Mr. Cormack?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all right, so motion carries 9-0.
Okay, now you have Q and U.
So we're looking to take a vote on Q and U.
Mr. Rice, we have Q and U left in that. You can take them separately or together as you please. And a motion would be in order to approve either Q, U, or both.
All right. I would make a motion to approve Q. We'll do it one at a time. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. It was moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Mr. Russell. Any comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed?
Nay.
Okay,
Probably do a roll call.
okay, all right.
Ms. Chenoweth, yeah, the roll call would be in order.
Mrs. Spanish Clemens,
Nay.
Ms. Batisky,
Nay.
Mrs. Blomgren, Mrs. Chaikin,
No.
Mr. Cormack,
Aye.
Yes.
Mrs. Cullen,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
and Mr. Wurs.
I think I lost him here. Let me just try to reconnect. Ron? Can you hear me? Yeah, you're.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you, we need to know whether you're voting in favor of Q, which is the consulting agreement, or against it. It's in favor.
In favor?
It was in favor of the consulting agreement.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got that, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, motion carries 5-4.
All right.
Mr. Rice?
I'll make a motion for item number U as in uniform.
A second.
Thank you.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Mr. Russell. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Nay?
Nay.
Okay. I think we need to do a roll call because it's very hard to hear. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Get my steps in,
I
no
think
worries.
we're setting the record for roll calls.
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Spanos Clemens,
Nay.
Ms. Patisky,
Nay.
Mrs. Blomgren,
Nay.
Mrs. Chaikin,
Nay.
Mr. Cormack,
Aye.
Mrs. Cullen,
Nay.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
and Mr. Wers.
Yes.
Okay, that motion failed. Mr. Rice?
All right, moving on. Motion to renew the PSBA membership renewal 2022 to 2023 in an amount of $16,194.82. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Patisky. Any comments or questions from board members? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I think Mr. Cormack was a yes. Motion carries 9-0. Mr. Rice?
Ron Wers is a yes, also.
Okay.
All right, on to the next page. Motion to accept and award bid results A through F below. So it's a list of allotments.
I'll second it.
Moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Patisky. Any comments or questions from board members? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Mr. Cormack?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 9-0. Mr. Rice?
All right, make a motion to approve student activity accounts A through double B listed below. So that is all the new student accounts. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Cormack? Student accounts? I don't know if I have it.
Mr. Cormack's driving, so
Yeah.
he's got it.
Well, we'll call that an 8-0. Mr. Rice?
All right. Make a motion to approve. I'll make a motion to approve the bank depositories for the 2022-2023 fiscal year items A through F listed below. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
All right, moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Blomgren. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 8-0.
Yeah. Because I think he's,
Okay.
excuse me.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the following cooperative purchasing participation for the 2022-2023 fiscal year items A through I listed below. Could I get a second,
I'll
please?
second, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rice and seconded by Ms. Chaikin. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve and review end-of-the-year payments of all bills received and payable through June 30th, 2022 as necessary. Bills listed will be forwarded to all board members prior to the release of the checks. Any checks in question will be resolved before they are released for payment. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second it.
Moved by Mr. Rice, seconded by Ms. Patisky. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, sorry, Ron. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Rice?
It is actually Mr. Russell's turn.
Your
to
next
say when our
finance
next
committee
meeting-
meeting.
Snap. Forgot that one.
Yes, aye.
Wait, does it list?
It's August 8th.
I flipped the page too soon. Does it? Oh, it is. Right there. Next finance committee is scheduled for Monday, August 8th. My bad. I threw all those without.
All right, Mr. Russell, personnel, please.
All right, with regard to the Personnel Committee, the notes of our last meeting are attached. I'm not going to go through those. Recommended action as follows. The first is a motion to appoint Ms. Tara Collis as North Middle School Principal at a salary of $144,217, effective upon hire.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments or questions? Dr. Bolt? Did I see? Oh, I thought I saw you go for your microphone. Okay. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Mr. Russell, one moment, please, sir. I would like to introduce Ms. Tara Calise to the community. She will be the next new principal at North Middle School. She has been the assistant principal at Colonial Middle School for the past 10 years. Prior to that, she has served as a teacher, a literacy coordinator, a reading specialist, and an adjunct faculty across all levels of education. She's a strong leader who values strong relationships and student achievement, and she's going to make a wonderful addition to both the North and the Penridge community. Let's welcome Ms. Tara Calise. Tara, if you stand. I also missed two earlier on the EDR personnel report, so if you'll allow me to introduce two other names that are not necessarily new to us, but might be new faces and have new positions. So I want to make sure I recognize Ms. Kelly Mallory and Ms. Dina McCann, who are both going to be new supervisors of special education. Ms. Mallory will primarily be at the elementary level, although there's some split pieces in terms of responsibility. Ms. McCann will primarily be at the high school level. So let's welcome and congratulate both of them.
The next motion relates to similar changes that we had last month, which is regard to just changing up some language in the three positions that are attached. That's a motion to approve the following revised job descriptions. A is a school cafeteria manager, B is a school cafeteria specialist, C is a school cafeteria worker.
Second that.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
The next is a motion to approve the secretary to the Department of Transportation. This is a new position, and the description is attached.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell, seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, Ron? Okay. Opposed? Okay, I think that's a 7-0. I didn't hear Ron.
All right, the next is a motion, as we discussed previously, the school district is self-insured with regard to its health insurance, and what we have is a stopgap policy that picks up after a certain level, which is, I believe, $225,000 incurred medical expenses. So this is a motion to approve the, sorry, I think I went out of line here. Is that the?
It's both.
No, you're
Both,
correct.
okay.
Both
So
elected
the stopgap and the group, there's also pursuant to our collective bargaining agreement, we're required to have a life insurance policy as well as an accidental death and dismemberment policy. So this is the approval related to both those. So I make a motion to approve the following contracts listed as A and B below.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mr. Rice. Are there any comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The next,
Oh, sorry. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Mr. Russell.
the next relates to a side letter agreement which we need to enter into anytime we deviate from the collective bargaining agreement. And this relates to a lead skilled maintenance diesel and automotive mechanic position, and that is attached as well. So I make a motion to approve this side agreement between Penridge School Board and the PESPA.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mrs. Blomgren. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
The next relates to just tightening up the vacation language so that it's consistent with the Act 93 contract. So I'd make a motion to approve the revised non-contracted employee compensation and benefit plan, which is attached.
I'll second that.
Moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mr. Rice. Are there any comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ron? Opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0.
The next is a motion relative to the non-contracted employee compensation for 2022-2023, and these relate to approving increases that are not automatically put into place. So that is attached as well. So a motion to approve the non-contracted employee compensation for 2022-2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell, seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that was an 8-0. Motion carries.
The next relates to a motion to approve a resolution regarding employee number 4012.
Second that.
Okay, moved by Mr. Russell and seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
And the next Personnel Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 1st, 2022.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we have policy, which I will do. Unless, is she able to do it on the phone or?
Megan, you want to do?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm here, but,
Maybe I can do it.
Could we have,
Rich said she was gonna do it for me.
great, okay.
What did she say?
She said you were going to do
Yeah,
it for me.
she asked me if I would, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let me just find my spot here. Okay, the first is a motion to approve first reading on policies A through C, which are student discipline, student expression, and controlled substance and paraphernalia.
I'd like to make a motion to accept them.
Second that.
Okay, it was moved by Ms. Chaikin and seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Okay, and the second is a motion to approve PSD policies A through D, which are local board procedures, extracurricular activities, purchases subject to bid and quotation, and purchases budgeted. I guess, anyone second that?
I'll second.
Was that you, Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so moved by Ms. Chaikin and seconded by Mr. Russell. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0.
It looks like for IU, we don't have anything. Am I right? Am I missing that?
Yeah, we were just,
Okay.
unless Dr. Bolton, if you wanted to say.
Right, I just want to celebrate two things from the IU. First, they celebrated their graduation last June 6th at William Tennant High School. There are programs all across the county where our students are educated through the intermediate unit, including 7 students from Penridge. So it was a wonderful night and celebration with those families at William Tennant High School as part of the IU graduation. And second, just want to highlight, if anyone's looking for any summer camps, there are wonderful opportunities at the Fab Lab, which is in Warminster, through the Bucks County IU. So if you're looking for that kind of option over summer camps, please check that out.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bolton. And Upper Bucks Tech, Mr. Rice, you're going to do that, right?
All right, yes. Last Monday evening, we were very fortunate here in Penridge to have the opportunity to host the UBCTS Senior Certificate Ceremony. Of the 21 programs that are available at the tech school, we were proud to acknowledge 150 graduating seniors from all 3 sending districts, and you could feel the excitement in the air. I mean, Dr. Scheid can agree with me, there's a lot of excitement in the air. 100% of our Penridge graduating seniors received at least one recognized industry standard certification. 28 Penridge graduating seniors will be entering the workforce through the Cooperative Education Program. 9 Penridge graduating seniors were inducted into the National Technical Honor Society. 4 Penridge graduating seniors are going on to serve our country in one of the branches of the military. And a side note, 80% of the graduating seniors of all 3 sending districts of the tech school will be continuing some form of post-secondary education. And as we speak, we are in the process of hiring an executive director for the Upper Bucks County Technical School. And a side note for the summer, there is a summer camp for students in grades 3 through 8. There is ubtech.org. We'll give you all the details, but it is actually next week, and there's only a few seats available. They're going to be technology adventures, so animal and veterinary science, graphic communications, healthcare careers, law enforcement, police science. And nobody leaves empty-handed, so that means they get some goodies when they go. So they're going to have like a session in the morning session for grades 3 through 5, and an afternoon session from 12 to 3 for grades 6 through 8. So check out ubtech.org for details. That is all I have for the tech school.
And your next meeting?
The next meeting will actually be, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually going to be this.
It says August 18th, but
That's,
is that right?
that's not correct. Actually,
Yeah.
we're having one this Thursday.
Thank you. Next, we have the Penridge Area Coordinating Committee. Mrs. Blomgren, is that you?
So, Bedminster, they received a request for another full-time police officer, as well as they discussed potential uses for the American Rescue funding. Dublin, if you live in Dublin, there's going to be a new Welcome to Dublin sign. They were also discussing potential uses for the American Rescue funding as well. And then for East Rock Hill, they discussed Grandview Hospital EMS presented an update on their ambulance needs and requested consideration of additional funding from the township's American Rescue Plan funds. And then for the Penridge Senior Center, they are going to continue to be open only for 3 days a week with lunches and Meals on Wheels continuing. They also, last month, the Penridge Community Center, when Central did their ALICE training, they evacuated over there and all went well, and they said it was a very good training that went on there. And then the next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 23rd.
Okay. All right, our next item, I'll make a motion to approve Ms. Joan Cullen, Mr. David Rice, and Ms. Christine Batisky as voting delegates for the 2022 PSBA Delegate Assembly on Saturday, November 5th, 2022. Need a second?
I can second that.
Oh, okay. I'll say it was seconded by Mr. Rice. Any comments or questions from board members? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Okay, and that brings us to old business. Do we have any old business to discuss? Okay, seeing none. Any new business? New? All right, well, that brings us back to comments and questions from our guests. And the first person we have is Paul Clymer. State your name and municipality, Mr. Clymer.
It works. Good evening, Dr. Bolton, members of the school board. My name is Paul Clymer. I live in West Rock Hill Township. A thank you to Penridge. A loud shout out to band director Kevin Furr for assembling the Penridge High School Senior Band and the North and Central Middle School bands for the recently held Memorial Day Parade in Percy. Also, to the administration for your cooperation, a thank you as well. The bands received continuous applause from the moms and dads, boys and girls who had stuffed the sidewalks of Percy, waving their flags and cheering our veterans. After their successful parade, the Penridge Senior High Band assembled at the Veterans Memorial in Menlo Park. A Percy band trumpeter opened the program with the rousing call to colors as our flag was raised. Then the overflow crowd proudly gave their Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Penridge Band playing the national anthem with voices uplifted. Later in the program, again under the direction of Kevin Furr, the band played John Philip Sousa's stirring and rousing Stars and Stripes Forever. Next, Central Middle School student Finn Norquay gave Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. However, Finn researched the reasons for President Lincoln's presence and gave this information to the audience. So when he gave his recitation of Lincoln's historic address at Gettysburg, it had power and meaning. It was a high school background. The band's rendition of the Armed Forces Salute received continuous cheers as the veterans stood when their branch of service was played. Retired Central Middle School music teacher Paul Daniels was on the keyboard when Chris Metzger and his daughter Jola led the audience in singing Irving Berlin's beautiful patriotic song, God Bless America, Land That I Love. Amen. The memorial part of the service concluded with the Penridge Bugler playing taps, acknowledging to our veterans and to our fallen heroes, day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, from the hills, from the skies, all is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Klein. Thank you, Mr. Klein. Okay, next, Kim Badillion. Name and municipality, please.
Hi, Kim Badillion, Percy Borough. First, I want to just thank you guys for the amount of time you put in a volunteer position, a volunteer unpaid position. I'm exhausted just going through your list on your agenda, and I know that you had to go through all of the discussion and the time to go through those documents and all those backup contracts, and I just wanted to thank you for that. I wanted to talk just briefly about the Wellness Academy. It sounds like a very ambitious program with noble intentions, but I have a few concerns. It seems it would overextend staff, counselors, and resources. We already have an overextended staff and resources and finances, and it seems like that this would just kind of take away from people that are already overextended. I think you're allocating funds that are maybe perhaps needed in other areas, such as resolving learning loss issues and the mundane behavioral things with losing almost a whole year of school that the kids are going through. You're asking perhaps the staff to weigh in on issues that are better addressed at home or with a professional with more extensive training who can spend the time needed to more fully assist the students. This seems like an instance where the needs of the average student is lost. So many times we worry about the high flyers and the kids on the other end that really need, that are struggling, but we're taking away a lot of resources and time and focus away from those middle students. So who speaks for them? We need to prioritize getting our students back up to speed and our test scores back up. This seems to take away from that. The core focus of the school needs to get everybody back on track after the pandemic. The district's time, finances, staff, and resources are limited. As we emerge from the pandemic, the focus needs to be on resolving the learning loss for all students. The Wellness Academy would strain all areas of the district. Once the district gets a better handle on those core responsibilities, perhaps revisit the Wellness Academy, but it just seems like although it's a great program and it has some good intentions, maybe now's not the time. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have one announcement. An executive session was held on May 17th, 2022 to discuss a personnel and legal matter, and there will be one following tonight's meeting to discuss legal matters. The next school board meeting is scheduled for August 22, 2022. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Mr. Jones, would you let us know when the live stream is off, please?